We have Death Odyssey by Heaven Pierce Her / Hakita from the ULTRAKILL soundtrack. Let's listen to it. Let's analyze it as we go. Let's go. Let me go. Okay, we are 7 seconds in. I love this. Once again, disclaimer, I'm going to be pausing a lot. I am not apologizing. We're doing this because I'm going to be telling you what I pick up as I pick it up. So, we start with very, very, very nice retro MIDI chords, drums, drums, guitar, and harpsichord. I love the harpsichord. The harpsichord is one of my favorite instruments when it comes to making things sound majestic. So you hit pause like a Skyrim bed, smash F5. There you go. Unlike with Skyrim, it's not because I fear the game will crash. It's because I have something to say. So yeah, this one going down the chords, really cool. I don't know which part of the soundtrack this is from. I don't know which area this was from, but this is, really, really good. What I'm wondering is, are we gonna hear the synth? There is one specific synth that Heaven Pierce Her / Hakita uses a lot. Let's see if we hear it. Okay, we jump as well into the almost traditional drums that Hakita, that Heaven Pierce Her uses. These like glitchy, almost drum and bass kind of drums, which gives the electronic vibe to it, even though it technically isn't. So people have to be present for their songs, preferably, yeah. Preferably, yeah. So we now have more complexity building up, and we had another synth on top of the harpsichord. I think the harpsichord has a synth doubling along with it, and we're jumping from the first theme to the second theme. Let's hear it again. I like this. So we started going down, like the chords first went down, now they're going up. Usually when you want to have a second theme, you want it to be contrast. And in this case, it looks like Hakita is doing kind of like a mirroring thing. The first one went down, the second one is going up. Very, very fun contrast. Smart, because it works. This is... I can hear the bass. So we have this harmony, which is almost like a Spanish guitar set of harmony. Really efficient, really effective to set a tone. Considering the visual over here, I think this is from one of the desert areas in the game. So one of the things about Spanish music, I don't know why, when you hear that kind of chord progression, which is, used to be it's called the harmonic minor, associated mainly with Arabic music. So when you add the Spanish element to it, it still has that like arid, desert-like. You're just not going to associate it with the Arab theme. You're going to associate it with something completely different, which in this case, it allows us to associate it with the drums, and the drums helps us associate this with the electronic element. And of course, the protagonist of this game, V1, is a robot. So it helps sum up things in such a subtle way. I really enjoy it. Okay, change of theme again. And this time, going back, but now there's the harpsichord synth in the background playing a little bit. Back to this, like, almost Spanish theme. So yeah, this is just pure vibe, purely like just headbanging, good old metal, with this almost like Spanish aspect to it. Very, very just good. Let me go back a couple of seconds because I missed that change. Okay, we go back to the initial theme, to the very, very first, but now we have the guitar doubling the melody. Very, very good way to emphasize and to revisit old material, to just add another layer, add something else so that you're playing the same but different. And this time you have the doubling. Say doubling, of course, as I just said. The guitar is doubling the harpsichord synth, and it just means the instrument is playing the same as another instrument, usually in a different octave or register. And it's very useful. It's a basic principle of orchestration. So this is something you would see a lot in orchestral music. So you have a lot of instruments in an orchestra. You have a lot of instruments. You have 4 sections of strings, 5 sections of strings. You have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 woodwinds, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 French horns, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brass, percussion, all these different lines of music. And something a lot of composers do is doubling. You just make some of the instruments play the same thing, one after the other, or one next to the other, and it just works in a very, very good way, because one of the things that you want to take into account is tone and timbre. And with this, we play the same initial theme that we had at the start, with just a different instrumentation now, and the melody is familiar, the rest of it isn't, so it feels new. Made by Wen, welcome to the day, man. How you doing? Obscure soundtrack from 10 plus ago from a really man OST was so good. Oh, I thought you were talking about Clear Obscure, the Expedition 33, but no, not a shitty game, just very bad polished niche game that could have been great. Well, there you go. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down? Like, I had to read the Yu-Gi-Oh title in the request that you placed, because otherwise I was like, do you have any idea how little that narrows it down nowadays? So let's continue. Obscure? That's how it's spelled in Expedition 33, yes. Okay, so we have another theme here with it's not really a floating melody. It's not really a floating melody, because it's still a little bit active, but it has something like that. May, yes! We are gonna play more of it after this, by the way, after the reacts. Oh, and here we have the good old Heaven Pierce Her traditional chord changes, a lot of guitars, odd signatures, which is very, very emblematic of ULTRAKILL. A time signature, of course, being the expected time of the bars. An odd time signature is when you do something that doesn't quite fit. You know, usually most songs nowadays, most songs ever written, will be on 4/4. 4 beats of quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you come to expect. When you make an odd time signature, you start exploring the options. So in this case, I am hearing 5/8, so you know, taka taka ta taka taka ta taka taka ta. 7/8, paka 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 ta paka 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 ta. You have all these odd time signatures that give you a sense of instability, a sense of rushing, motion forward, that very useful for a game very fast paced like on ULTRAKILL. I haven't played the game yet, but based on the OST, I want to play it. We have been playing Expedition 33 on this stream, and it's been insane. We're starting Act 2 today, by the way. So yeah, we have all this exploration of... Yep. So we are having... This is a very fast-paced structure. It's like tripping on your legs and catching yourself. Yes, almost like that. It's very, it's almost disorienting at times. And what I'm noticing here is that we're taking the themes, the chord progressions from the first couple of minutes, and now we're compressing them into these odd time signatures, which means we are rushing it, we are delaying them, we're dragging them, and we're just compressing these while the melody is trying to catch up, trying to keep up. Of course, there is nothing unplanned about this. Everything here is composed for that purpose. It's just really difficult to make it sound purposeful while at the same time make it sound improvised. The master of this, of course, was Igor Stravinsky with his planned improvisation. You hear most of his pieces of music, everything sound like a lot of things will sound improvised, but they were in fact carefully composed. The most famous example is The Rite of Spring, which, believe it or not, is a ballet. Okay, so we go back to a more stable time signature. 3, 1, 2, 1. So 5 over 4, but still. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we went from the 4/4 that we had from the entire thing, and we moved to a 5/4 with a little interlude of 8 notes. So now we have a more unstable sense in the grander scheme of things. That's a big difference between something like 5/8 and 5/4, because on 5/8 it's a lot faster. 5/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we just saw that. So there are many things that will sound very similar in music, and that people will, in theory, see that it's the same thing. It adds up to the same, but things will have different functions. And this is one of them, because 2 bars of 5/8 equal 1 bar of 5/4. But the feeling is completely different. So I want to play this at my wedding. There you go. So we have this. So we're still using the chords from the earlier parts, but now we're just exploring these time signatures. Back to the start. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We switch this to a 3 now. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Which, you know, the purpose of a measure in 3, 3/8, 3/4, is to give you that sense of dancing. That is usually what you get with measures in 3/4, 3/8, 6/8. Very, very common. You know, the waltz is written in 6/8. The minuet is written in 3/4. And again, some of these things add up to being the same, but their function is different and they give you a completely different feeling. So in this case, I think this is more of a 6/8, 6/4 situation. This is more of a waltz because of where the accent is. The accent is on the downbeat, on the 1, and not on the 3. So I'll never get married, or if I was considering this would play like them on the right octave. There you go. Just 3/4 of the middle manager and the middle managers. That's one way to put it. Okay. Complete contrast over here. We drew back, we walked back a bunch of stuff, and we are back. Let me hear that again. Accordion. We add an accordion. We add an accordion, something completely out of left field. Still, it was a cool transition. Yeah, like Hakita, like if you want to study transitions, absolutely this guy. Heaven pierce her, Hakita, absolutely brilliant when it comes to transitions. Every track I've heard from Hakita has such good transitions. This person can absolutely give you a masterclass on it. It's so good the way that everything just flows so naturally. And even just now, I got whiplash from that tonal whiplash. It still fits. I was just because I'm actively listening to it, but it's still that. Wait, is that really? Yeah. Piano. We have a China cymbal in the drums now. And we have, okay, this is very unusual. This is so unusual. We've gone to a complete parallel dimension Twilight Zone levels here while still staying in this track. So yes, we had the accordion doing keeping the downbeat. We have the piano keeping the original theme, the da-da-dum, 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 which is our motif. Motif, once again, of course, being our essential musical idea, the original phrase, the seed that we want to plant in this piece. What caught my attention here is the china. There is a symbol that you can use in a drum set for heavy metal that is called the china symbol because of how it sounds kind of like a gong, kind of not. It's the one playing the pa-pa, pa-pa. Usually, the china symbol is going to be used for either a steady rhythm or downbeat, which is to mark the start of a new measure. And Heaven Piercer is using this right now for the offbeats. It is such an unusual thing to do that there is no way this was not deliberate. You don't do these by accident. And I am impressed. Alright, we go back to that original, like, Spanish-like theme, but we have the new ensemble now with the accordion. And something else that changed is the drums. We went from the, like, drum and bass, almost techno-like drums, to metal drums. Just traditional metal, almost like an acoustic set. Of course, this is all MIDI, but still, we have that now. It changes the vibe completely while keeping everything there. Let's see what we do next. What happens next? So now we have... When did it change from accordion to strings? Hang on, hang on. So we added the harpsichord. And just like that, that was so subtle. That was so smooth. So we changed the accordion back to the harpsichord and synth that we had at the start because of how similar they sound. We did what is called a crossfade. You fade out one instrument while bringing one track while you bring up the other one. And it was so smooth. I didn't notice the change the first time around. We went from such an deliberate, abrupt, and aggressive change to such a subtle and such a just completely flawless transition. It's insane. Nate, welcome to today. How you doing? The accordion is gone. And now we go back to the start. Oh my god, I'm doing fantastic. Especially with this. Oh my god. And we're back. And we're back to the theme. We're back to the original theme. Oh my god. This is insane. The pivot from the accordion part to going back to this was a crossfade between the accordion and the original harpsichord and synth. Sounds normal to you? I think that's the point. You're not supposed to, you don't notice it if you're listening to it and if you don't know what to listen for. Don't let the crossfade distract you from the overwhelming amount of sugar within 1 tablespoon of tea milk. Oh, milk tea. There you go, which is why I drink mainly water during streams. We're back to that original theme. We're back to variation of the initial theme, which, you know, we're reaching the outro, so we're doing a couple variations here. Again, this like syncopated or so yeah, again, we're revisiting the themes and almost like giving you a summary of what we just went through. This, of course, the bum 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 bum, the very similar to some of the action movies we've seen in the past, which of course very fitting for this. Would you say this used Phrygian? An augmented Phrygian. Phrygian augmented? Is that what we call? It used a lot the. So yeah, we're going. Is it gonna fade out? No. It breaks down, literally. I forget that Heaven Piercer does this a lot. So it used the Phrygian of the harmonic minor scale. A Phrygian with a raised third. That is how you would get the, like, Spanish sounding. Is it an augmented Phrygian? Is that, I forget the name of the Phrygian, but it's a Phrygian with a raised third, and it is just that was a lot of fun. That was just a lot of fun. I mean, no, it's the Locrian with an augmented third at a raised fifth. So yeah, the Phrygian with a raised third. This was something else. Oh my god. The use of time signatures to jump around and mess around with the themes. I'm still processing how smooth the transition from the accordion back to the harpsichord was. It just goes to show how well thought out these tracks are, because you need to be deliberate in what synths and what instrument you pick. And the fact that Heaven Piercer picked a harpsichord with that synth, and it ended up sounding so similar to the accordion so that you could do that crossfade, goes to show just how this was all written to fit together. Really, really good stuff. There you go. That was Death Oddyssey by Heaven Piercer / Hakita from the ULTRAKILL soundtrack. Insane track. Which, again, it's ULTRAKILL. Most of the tracks are very... They can be hectic, they can be frantic like that, because that's kind of the vibe that the game goes for, but they are so well built. I'm still surprised that we didn't hear the synth that Hakita uses a lot, but still, it was really, really well made. I enjoyed this. It was really fun. So thank you for requesting that. If you want to request a song, if you're live, you have the song requests. And if you're watching this on YouTube, just leave a comment with what songs you want us to do, and we'll record them on Mondays. So let's